Welcome, April.
Hey Joe, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Happy to have you here. Please tell everybody a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Hey everyone, my name is April Rose, and I am the vocalist and guitarist of the band Auditory Armory. We are a progressive alternative metal band from Orlando, Florida, and I am on the Aries Taurus cusp, and my Cancer is my rising sign.
Nice. Everybody knows more about their zodiac signs than I do. I need somebody to explain it to me. I know my sun is Scorpio and my moon is Virgo, and then I can never like figure out which one is supposed to be the rising. Yeah,
I know. I always like I know I have two things in Cancer or something, but like I don't know like total like in depth into it, but that's just the basic, I guess.
perfect. Love it. Okay, so and you're an auditory armory, and when did you realize that you loved rock and metal? What's the special memory, of the first like car ride where you heard that band where you went, "Oh yeah, that's it for me." And what about like the moment when you were like, "Okay, I'm ready to try doing this too."
Yes. So for me, who introduced me to rock was I used to live with some relatives when I first moved from Orlando, like from Chicago. I moved from Chicago to Orlando around when I was like 6 or 7. And we stayed with some friends of the family. And one of them, his name was Tom, introduced me to Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, Stone Temple Pilots. And I really remember really connecting with those bands. And particularly, I remember on MTV, like watching the video for Interstate Love Song from Stone Temple Pilots. And that just striking me for some reason. It was so just artsy and grungy and just different. The chord progression was a little bit dark but melodic, and it stuck in your head. It was so that was like the moment where I really like I was like, okay, I like rock.
Mm-hmm.
Um and then when I realized why I could do it is when I started playing guitar, I started to play music around when I was I would say 14. I started to play guitar. I took lessons around that time. I was listening to bands like Kitty, and Kitty was a band that was really pivotal for me to like realizing, wow, like young women can play metal. That was so cool to me. So that was my moment. And then even going further of like solidifying like my lust for wanting to be on the stage is um seeing bands like Arch Enemy, Angela Gossow from Arch Enemy, and Alyssa White Glues from The Agonist, and seeing those empowered women in metal. I was like, wow, it was really inspirational.
Yeah, it matters so much for us to have role models that like we can relate to somehow. Like sometimes, you might already know about like Grace Slick or other rock stars from like the 60s or 70s, but they're
Mm-hmm.
not like doing it now in a totally
Mm-hmm.
different landscape. And so it is so important to make women visible. Um, all right. So if your music were a movie soundtrack, what would the movie be about?
Um, First off, I love these questions. These questions are so great and creative. Um, I I had to go with it would be like a mid to late 90s psychological thriller suspense, kind of like Seven, Memento, The Bone
Mm,
Collector, and then even like throw in like little 80s like David Lynch's Blue Velvet, kind of that kind of
mm.
eerie vibe. Um and um and what would it be about, right? Is that what you asked? I would say the antagonist would be a serial killer of some sort, going along with that kind of genre and that style, with some sort of manifesto. I don't know what though, but it would be like a manifesto of like driven with a divine purpose, and maybe music would
Mm.
be tied into it. And then of course like there would be a twist at the end, like somehow the antagonist was like linked to the main character all along, sort of deal.
I love it. That actually sounds really good. And I think that matches your music really well. Um, what would the hero be like, and what would the villain be like in your movie?
Okay. In that movie, I think the villain would be very like hyper intelligent, um, but violent, but like in a very meticulous, graceful way.
Hmm.
Like kind of like a Beauty in the Darkness kind of deal. And then the I guess the hero, I guess, would be it would be um a woman who is like coming of age and really trying to find her inner strengths. And then maybe by solving this crime, she finds out things about herself in the process.
Love it. Heroine's journey. Um, so in the moments that you've had to make difficult sacrifices for your art, what are some strengths that you discovered in yourself?
Oh, yes. Um, some sacrifices that I've had to make for my art. Well, not going the traditional route, I think, of like I went to music school. And it's funny because I don't teach, I did teach lessons for a little bit, but like I don't have that traditional like, oh, after you go out of college, you have this like sort of career. I was like, I want to be in a rock band. And throughout that time, it's been, of course it's hard to be an independent musician, financially, and then just getting your music out there when there's just so many voices out there is really hard too. But what I discovered about myself is um just like that how strong I really am, in the sense that I grew up really, really shy and I never thought I would ever be like a front person in a band or like a
Mm,
front woman in a band. Um and but I knew I loved music and I loved guitar, and so I just kind of started playing guitar and singing and going with it. But through these sacrifices, I realized like, wow, I really am I am a front person. I am a front
mm,
woman of a band, and I am a leader of a band that, I am the primary songwriter of my band, and I do most of all the social media and booking, all that stuff.
mhm.
And so I think I really realize like how capable I really am, and like if I can do it, like somebody who is just like has like crippling grew up like with crippling shyness, if I could do it, then I mean other women can do it too.
I love this message. Very, very good for the community to hear that kind of thing because, like, people who are doing tours in the US and even outside the US get like really intense stage fright before they go on stage, no matter how many times they've
Yes.
been on
I
stage.
do too. I do. Like, and that's like another thing too, is that like I try to like overcome it, and I let the music just be the vehicle. Like I'm just the medium for the music and the message to come out. But um I feel like if I can like, I can overcome it. I was like, I know other young women can overcome it too, because I deal with a lot of anxiety and a lot of like depression and trauma, and I kind of have that, and but I still try to like overcome it because connecting with the fans and making the music is worth it.
Love it. Yeah, I think like all those sacrifices, even like sacrificing your shyness, like is an amazing kind of, that is a sacrifice for your art, sacrificing some comfort
It
of
is. You're
familiarity.
right. It is. That's such a good point. Is like it's more comfortable for me to be shy and introverted, but to put your music out there, you have to talk to people, and you have to perform in front of others and
Mm,
stuff. So
yeah. Like taking the lamb to the pyre and taking that energy. and releasing it. Um, yeah, and also just like for me, I have found that like being creative is much more important to my mental health than a quiet life could be. Like a regular life. If
Mhm.
I were, you know, I don't want to name anybody's job by accident, but if I had one of those jobs,
Yeah, right. I know. I have one. I do have one of those like full-time jobs and stuff, and like, but and that's like not by, that's not by choice. It's just survival. It's so I can like afford to do things at the moment. But I'm trying to
yeah, so that
transition out of that. But
yeah, so that you can afford to create a meaningful life.
right, right, yeah, and
Uh,
afford all these live concerts.
for
Concert
sure.
tickets.
Okay, so if you could have any three pieces of band memorabilia of all time, what would you like to have?
Ooh, three pieces of band memorabilia. I'd have to say, I'd have to go to like my um biggest inspirations would be Kate Bush.
Mm,
I would
love her.
love her sword and her gold headdress from the Babushka music video.
Mm,
That would be one of them. Um, Tori Amos, I would love to own like a small toy piano. Sometimes I know she records with like different pianos. I would love to have some kind of instrument that was played by Tori Amos.
mm.
And and then bracelets made from the used guitar strings of Annie DeFranco.
Oh, love that. I love that you have like already crafted them into a piece of jewelry.
Yeah, just so, like I could have that aura, like her aura rub off on
Oh yeah,
me.
especially like while you're playing too.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you could pick bands for the lineup of a dream festival, any size, any amount of days, what bands would you put in the lineup and where would the festival take place?
Oh, wow. I think it would be cool to have it in, I don't know, like specific like names of venues, but I'm thinking like more intimate, but like it would be cool if it was like a touring thing, like, oh, we had to stop in definitely North America because I feel like Europe has all these cool tours, and I'm like, man, we have to have some in North America. We got to get a cool tour there, North America and Europe, but maybe like a small intimate venue, definitely like North America, Europe, stop, maybe South America too. I'd love that. Um, but I would love to have kind of like a mashup of like a women's version of Ozfest and Lilith Fair. So like I would have Kate Bush, Tori Amos, Bat for Lashes, Spirit Box, Kitty, Nervosa. I put what else did I put? Diso Fluid. I love them.
Hmm.
The Dresden Dolls.
Hmm.
And and then I would add like a lot of like other independent bands that are up and coming that have women members, like so that they could gain exposure too. That would, and among like some even bands that I've played with, like Red Calling and Modern Mimes, Gabriel and Apocalypse, Ramtha. Um, and it would be cool if our band Auditory Armory played too.
Oh yeah, no,
But
your band is headlining. Yeah, yeah,
oh, is it? Is it? I
yeah.
didn't know.
You're
I
the
was like,
headliner,
oh, we're in the head. I was like, it's cool if we played it too, but like this would just be like as an organizer, this would be amazing, like fest to have.
and you have every reason to be on that lineup. So, um, everyone has to find the comfortable balance for themselves between the rock star who has curious fans and the private individual who wants to stay comfy and doesn't want
Hmm.
to share everything.
Yeah.
What do you love to talk to your fans about, whether that's at the gig or online? And what do you wish people would stop asking you about?
Um, I I like connecting with the fans, even though I'm naturally introverted. I love when people come up to us after a show and say like how much a song or how much our performance impacted them. That is that's a really cool exchange and um makes me music so meaningful to me. Is that connection. Um I like talking to fans about like music, like because I'm such a lover of music. I love to like know what and like just because I play like a certain style of rock or whatever, like I love like so many different genres. So like I love like nerding out with other metal fans about like thrash metal or Anthrax and Testament and stuff like that, or or progressive rock. I love Porcupine Tree, Tool, Devin Townsend. So like when I talk to other people about like our both our nerddom for these kind of things, I love that. Um, Something that I wish that people would stop asking me about is uh
Like it's a
um
fun answer. Everybody's answer to this part is always like, could be anything. What is yours?
oh well I always get asked, does anybody ever tell you you look like the girl from Wayne's World? So that would
Wow.
be my one.
It's
It's like
like,
a compliment, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I don't look anything like Tia Carrere, even though she's like so beautiful. But like, it's like, oh wow, just because I'm Asian and play guitar.
yeah, 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 exactly. And that is really goofy. Especially, I'm glad that you shared that because now everybody who ever would have asked that can like know that yes, you've been asked that question before.
Yes,
People
many
have
times.
compared you to her. Yeah, I the same thing happens to me a lot with a whole bunch of people. If they have blonde hair,
Really?
somebody's gonna say I look like them.
Oh
All
my gosh.
all you need is blonde hair, and apparently we look like. So
Right? You're a blonde rocker chick, then,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, Gwen Stefani. Oh, there's like some newer
Oh my
girl,
gosh.
somebody else. I don't know, but yeah,
I mean, they're all like amazing women, but it's like at the
yeah.
same time, it's like where is that like where did they get that from?
Well, it's also like, what does that have to do with what you're creating? Really,
Yes, yes. There
no.
you
So it's
go.
like, oh, so did you like the show? Well, you look like the girl from Wayne's World. Oh, great. So useful feedback.
Yeah, exactly. You got it. That's
Uh,
so true.
so yeah, but music and how they felt about the show, that is a green light. So, looking back, what was a big decision you made that turned out to be a great choice?
Um, Two choices I would say is my decision to go to a vegetarian diet. That started when I just overall feel better, um, physically, karmically,
Hmm.
soul wise. That was like in 2009. So it's been quite some time now, but and the other big decision I decided to make, and I know this sounds lame, is meditation.
No, it doesn't sound
Um,
lame. Are you joking? I meditate constantly. Please.
do you really? Oh,
Yeah,
awesome.
I just call it my big things. Like if I need to solve a problem or I have like a loose idea about something that's like creative, or I'm just trying to figure out how to organize my day, I just sit down for a little while and I just stay focused on that particular thing. When I have like a sticky note or something nearby. And I mean, I also do like breath work meditation, but those are different,
Wow.
right? So it's like
Uh-huh.
the breath work,
Amazing.
yeah, the breath work for me is great when it's like I wake up in the middle of the night and I need to calm my heart rate down. But
Yeah.
I like right after I wake up in the morning, sometimes when I'm just coming out of a dream or something, I intentionally bring to mind like some sort of creative issue that I'm trying to expand, some artistic expansion that I have in mind. And I have so much clarity. Like my mind is so relaxed in that moment that I usually get a really great next step forward figured out. But if I don't get it right then, I also will come into this room and I will sit down in front of Tina Turner because she's the boss. And
Yes.
I'm like, Tina, I don't like this thing. And she's like, you don't need him.
I
And
love that. Thank you for sharing that. That's
yeah, tell me
amazing.
about your practice.
So I mainly do like um just deep breathing and guided meditation. So like that really helps me get into that like visual state of mind. And I guess it was really hard for me at first because I get distracted easily. My brain's always like going, like crazy and I can't turn it off. And but really deciding to do it daily and consistent, like I do it every morning. I try to do it at least once a day. Um, but doing that like really helped provide some sense of balance and calm
Mm,
that was just so hard for me to find for a while. And, it's not like the panacea of the medicine that'll cure all, but
mm.
it definitely has helped me.
Yeah, totally get it. Like, there's so many fun, creative things to scramble around, and everything's very shiny and distracting, and it's so hard to choose the priorities. I totally think that like meditation is a great resource for especially a world that seems to be getting like more and more, little glittery things everywhere all the time.
Right, right,
Like
right. Yes.
we could frame this in different ways, but like it's really just like twinkling desires all around us and it's like ooh like
Hmm.
all these different things and like
Yes.
you got to like think about like which one it makes sense to direct your energy at first um and be flexible about that changing, I think.
Yes.
Deep, this is our big think. We're having a big think.
We're having a big thing.
We're just
I
having a
love
big
it.
we're having a big think about meditation. Um, so what does it feel like to you when your intuition is speaking?
Ooh. When my intuition is speaking, it feels like repetitive signs,
Hmm.
different messages. I'll get repeating numbers or certain lyrics that'll pop out to me in songs and I'm like, that's what I needed to hear.
Hmm.
And different synchronicities and sometimes I think they repeat because I'm afraid to acknowledge the signs initially.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
feel like I'm like, nope, nope, I don't need to make that change. Nope, I don't need to do that. But then it's like, I know I really need to do it. But then I keep getting signs from the universe or um in little messages or whatever that like means something to me and that will tell me like, nope, April, you got to do that thing or don't ignore that thing anymore or take better care of yourself.
Right.
So, what about
Yeah.
you? I'm curious.
Oh yeah, it's like this is my word of the year. I pick a word each year to like stay with for a while. So like last year was visibility and clearly that worked out. And the year before that was actually selfish, which was very scary for a lot of people to hear me say.
Mm,
But as women we're like perhaps influenced to be generous and rewarded for our generous behavior sometimes,
mm-hmm.
but making a generous choice is not always the best choice for our self-care. And so
That's true.
needed to find more balance between my generosity and my self-care. And so that's why the word was selfish. And so then it was visible, and now it is intuition because I have been pondering how we live in this very mechanical world.
Mm-hmm.
Um, with all of these systems everywhere, and life is not a mechanism, it is a mystery. And we
Yes.
have these, like, our little glimmers of intuition out there that mean something like real and physical and solid, but we're conditioned to believe that we need a different kind of evidence to create conclusions. But,
Yes.
but with a woman's mind, I mean, I know I could be generalizing, but I feel like we are very sensitive to subtle, like, tones and signs and use of language
Mm-hmm.
and expressions, and it's a part of, like, being an empathetic being. And
Yes.
when we live in this mechanized world and we're told not to live in this world in that way, I think we're losing some power. And so I feel like I'm actually just like more learning this, and seeking wisdom from the community on this topic. So as I'm going along, I think I'm learning to trust the stuff, like, it's like, oh, that was weird. Like that feeling right there. Like it could be
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, it could be a positive thing, it could be a negative thing, but something simply feels out of place. And
Right.
rather than being like, I don't have any reason to believe something's out of place. No, allow yourself to believe that something is out of place and find the source of the mystery, find what is motivating this out of place thing. So I'm still learning, but that's where I am right now with it. I'm just like, when I feel
Yeah.
like
I
that.
feel like I'm learning too, I'm learning and I'm getting more in touch with my intuition and trying to listen to those signs. And I feel like everybody has energy and everybody has this inner voice, but like you said, we're taught like certain ways, and sometimes we're taught to block that voice and to not listen to that voice. But really inside, I feel like there's some guidance within,
Mm,
and some guidance maybe externally, there's things that are like unexplained, you know what I mean?
yeah, 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 absolutely. Like, I mean, like, miracles can't be understood sometimes, for
Mm-hmm.
example, right? But like, and there's no mechanized way of explaining them. And so
Exactly.
it's like, just like stuff like big or small. It could be like you, you sort of like place an order with the universe for this desire that you have. Like you want to be like in some sort of photo shoot for a magazine, and then like the like next hour you get that email with like the invitation to do such a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Or somebody is like thinks that they might be sick, and then they go and they get all their CAT scans and they discover that actually they are okay. And it's like, tis a mystery, it cannot be understood. And
Yeah.
yeah, so anyway, I'm having a lot of fun with that. I think it's going to be a really awesome year to just like let that linger. Not
Yeah.
not like be proactive about it, not like read a lot, not like, develop a practice intentionally, but just letting it like hang out with me, see what happens
Mm-hmm.
next. And hopefully with the whole community. Imagine how
Yeah.
wicked if things would get if all the rock goddesses were like deeply in touch with their intuition.
Oh my gosh, it would be like I actually like have this acoustic song of mine because I release songs under April Rose too. It's acoustic called Coven, and it's about like finding other community and the other outcasts and weirdos and misfits, um I really feel like, yeah, there is magic, and I feel like if we all like collectively pull together, oh my gosh, it like gives me chills.
Oh, this is a coven. This is a coven. Um,
Yeah.
welcome. So the
Love it.
it's making me think of something else that came up recently. Um, so this is like a little off topic, but I feel like we're like just flowing there. I was thinking about city buses, and when you get on a bus in Philadelphia, where I live, uh, people on the bus they know each other, like they're seeing each other at the same time of day, and they say good morning and like how's your dog and like all of these other pieces of conversations that are a part of the community, like weaving together.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about like, in most big cities, those of us riding buses are not the same people that have the access to money for like, I don't know, like heck, having like a whole garage in the city and like the car and all the stuff that goes with that. And like there's a more affordable choice that we make. And so when you are deprived of some of those luxuries that actually isolate you, you are
Mm-hmm.
more tied to your community. And that's where soul in a city grows. It doesn't grow in
Oh,
individuals in their cars or in
no.
their
Yeah.
Ubers. I mean, like you can talk to your Uber driver a little bit, but it's not the same as getting on the
Mm-hmm.
bus at the same time every day with the same people. It's
Yeah.
almost like going to church to get on a bus in Philadelphia.
Yeah, wow. That's really fascinating. Like Florida where I live doesn't have a great public transportation system. So
But
but like
there are other churches in your community.
yes, I
Way.
can like but I understand what you're saying and that's so powerful.
Yeah, it's like you could be it could be like the corner store, you know?
Yes, the
Like you see,
corner store. Yep.
yeah, like just the lady that like gets whatever you want from behind the counter that you see a couple days a week and stuff, or like,
Yes.
the laundromat or whatever, like just these places where you cross paths with your fellow Philadelphians in my case. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just some more big thanks. Um, Probably. Anyways, well, let's see. What is your favorite gear and your favorite stage wear?
My favorite gear is currently my oh, I can kind of see it in the background there, but it's that purple guitar there, but
Uh-huh.
it's my solar guitar. I am a solar guitar artist. But I love that guitar. It's got Fishman Fluence, Devin Townsend Transcendent signature pickups. It's got an Evertune bridge and it's just feels really good. Um, it doesn't have like too heavy of a neck and it's not too thin. It's just really balanced and
Oh.
it just really suits me, I think. And
Hmm.
it's just like I feel like an extension of like myself. Like
Love that.
I love like I have like had like a few guitars like that in my life and I just really love that guitar. Stage where I'm gonna have to go practical in a way. Like I really am about makeup setting spray
Mhm,
because
mhm,
I'm
mhm.
I use Urban Decay makeup setting spray, but I mean makeup setting spray
You mean this one?
regard. Yes, that's exactly it.
Okay, so let's talk about the techniques with the makeup setting spray because somebody taught me that you can like spritz between layers. So like you put
Oh,
down,
whoa, I didn't know that.
yeah, you do like, if you're putting on like foundation or something, give that a spritz. Then do your glitter and
Oh,
your
okay.
whatever, and then spritz that, and then like, so like kind of like layer it in. Apparently that works really, really well.
I'm gonna try that. Thank you so much for that tip because I had been doing it at the end, but I had times before when I didn't do it like in the way past and had to like throw away contacts at the end of the show because they got like so like mucked up with makeup or something and so I was like, you know what? No makeup in the eyes is like no bueno.
Right.
So like with sweat, I mean.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And um so yeah, that's my practical stage wear.
We love a practical stage wear tip. Gel insoles in the shoes, or, your favorite like detangler spray for after the set. Like that kind of stuff is like wonderful trade information. Also about your guitar though, you've got the Evertune bridge. It sounds like a great guitar. And then you said that the neck is not too thin. Tell me about how you like the neck of your guitar to be.
Oh, okay. I like the neck of my guitar to be because I've just grown playing guitar growing up. I've mainly played thin necks like Ibanez style necks, thin necks. And this guitar is not as thin as like most Ibanez necks are, but
Hmm.
it's a little bit more, it's a slightly beefier, and I feel like I can really like dig into it.
Hmm.
It's still easy and to maneuver the
Hmm.
neck because it's not super thick or super blocky, um but you can still kind of give that like chug to
Hmm.
it.
Hmm. Okay, that makes sense to me. Okay, because I got a new bass and it's got a thinner neck, and it's like a heaven sent to have a thinner neck for me
Nice.
on the strings. And I could see, okay, yeah, yeah, why you wouldn't want the neck to be too thin if you're doing like the chugging kind of
Yeah.
um riffs on a guitar. Is yours hollow body or solid wood?
Solid wood.
Heavy, heavy, or at least it would be heavy for me. I need solid body. I'm pixie size and I cannot lift up heavy guitars for very long. Okay.
This guitar isn't so heavy though. I feel like it's not so
Hmm.
heavy.
Hmm. Um, okay, so when you hit the inevitable flaming hoop in the circus, like your drummer breaks their foot or the van loses a wheel,
No,
uh,
my goodness.
what helps you keep a positive mindset?
Um, what helps give me a positive mindset besides meditating is I keep thinking I am not alone in this. There have been so many bands before me that have gone through this, and I look up to like bands that have had like some longevity, like Arch Enemy, Lacuna Coil, Devin, Townsend. And I really feel like, or even like bands like Overkill, like people who've been doing this, and they I know that they go through like shit like this, but they keep persevering. And
Hmm.
I'm like, that's really motivating and inspiring me. So that kind of um gets me like in a positive mindset, is to feel like I'm not alone, and this is this is part of the road warrior's journey.
Mm-mm.
It's inevitable part of the road warrior's journey,
That is,
and we go through it.
yeah, that's a solid mantra. It's the road warrior's journey. It's all a part of that. I love that. My mantra is miracles happen. So it's like, okay, this is getting really messed up,
Yes.
but like a miracle will happen. Something's gonna give. Miracles happen. They happen every day. So,
Yes.
what is a performance memory that you'll never forget?
Ooh, performance memory that I'll never forget is um there's I'm trying to think of, there's a few, but one that I remember is when we played in West Allis, Wisconsin. We played, it was for our Mind Over Matter tour, that we played a few shows in the Midwest. Um, and we had somebody who came up after the show to tell us how much our performance impacted them. They had the intention that day of, they said, they told us this, that they were gonna basically drink themselves stupid and go home and shoot themselves. But
Wow.
our band happened to be playing that night. They didn't know who we were. They just paid to come in and see us play, and they bought some stuff, and I guess our music really connected with them, and they said that it really like gave them like a reason to move on and to continue.
That
So
is
that
so
was
amazing.
something cool.
I think that's probably the most impactful thing that your music can achieve, over any monetary reward or recognition to like touch people with something so much that you can change their life. Bravo.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's an
Yeah, you're
honor.
so welcome. After a long day of recording, touring, and working out the kinks, how do you most like to practice self-care?
I like to smoke weed and listen to records.
There you go.
That's my way of like
Popular
unwinding and
answer.
self-care. Is it really?
Yeah, there's a couple. There's been a couple people who said that that was what they like to do. They like to sit down with their cats and their bong and their music and
Yeah, that's exactly it. Cats, bong, records. Um, that's how I unwind and how I feel like that's kind of like my zen.
love
And
that.
being in nature too. I love hiking, and so I'll hike with my cat too. Like we'll go
Oh,
hiking with
cool.
my cat. Yeah.
Like, does your cat just walk along with you, or is this like a cat back?
She has a backpack, and then sometimes it has windows, and if she feels like walking, she'll jump out and walk for a little bit.
Oh, oh, okay. I have parrots and I have a birdie backpack that is just like the cat backpack. They just sit inside of it.
Oh,
They-
that's so
yeah,
awesome.
they don't come out though because they're like scared of everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. I love to hear that people know how to take care of themselves and everything. Um, I like a good indulgent like 13-mile roller skate myself. Uh,
Ooh, that's amazing that you do that. That is so cool.
it's so like relaxing. It's just like it's when you're skating, your skates weigh a little bit and you've got
Okay.
your music in and you're outside in nature, but the pavement isn't even. It's just like a path along the river, and so you have to like be present in your body while you're skating outside. It's not the same as sort of like, you know, just like if you're like running on a treadmill and then your brain's
Right.
going somewhere. It's like you have to be present in the act.
Yeah.
And it's exhausting to go 13 miles in a
Mm-hmm.
good way. So it's like super refreshing. But it does take like a little bit of time to do that long. And so it feels a little indulgent because so many other things that need to get done. Yeah. And it's also like kind of time sensitive. I can't do it in the middle of the night. So, do you have any new announcements for us?
New announcements. Just a couple of shows that we have. Uh, we are recording some music, but we'll be recording it early next year. So we've got a few songs recorded. It'll probably be an EP, but at least two new songs that we'll start recording the beginning of next year. We got a show this coming Saturday with a few other awesome bands, November 16th in Sanford. And December 7th, we're playing also in Winter Park in Conduit. And December 28th, we just got a show at Will's Pub in Orlando for the Orlando Girls Rock Fest.
Oh,
Uh,
cool.
yeah, it's hosted by the Orlando Girls Rock Camp.
Yeah, I have heard about that in Orlando and in LA. Do you know the girls in the band Antagonizer?
Yes, I think they've played it before. They played last year. They may play again. I don't know. That would be amazing.
They have had their own episode on this series, and I love those girls so much. And yeah, good to know that the community is well networked down there. So, where can everybody listen to your music, and how can they follow what you do?
Oh, you can follow us Auditory Armory Official on Instagram. We're on most streaming platforms for our music. Auditory Armory, our official website is auditoryarmory.com.
Okay, welcome back, April. Now we're gonna finish with the vinyl game.
Yes.
Eurythmics or Stevie Nicks?
Oh, this is actually okay. I'm gonna go with Eurythmics.
Okay, what do you love about Eurythmics?
Well, I have to be honest with you. I don't know if I'm totally familiar with this album. I've heard it in its entirety, but I love Annie Lennox, and I think that she is so cool because, she really had that, really defied like fashion norms with the androgynous look and just like a powerful female too.
Yeah, beautiful, deep voice, just really different, moody music. I got to
Yes, yes, meaningful like I and like really thoughtful lyrics too, like
Mhm.
thought-provoking lyrics.
Yeah, and I have listened to your cover of Cry Little Sister so many times.
Oh,
We
thank
did
you
our
so
first
much.
one. Yeah, I listened to your album a lot actually. It's really good, and the place where you put each of your covers in, I think there's just two on your album, right?
Yeah, we did the Love You to Death by Typo Negative also on that album.
Yeah, they fit into the album really well. They don't like disturb the rest of the songs. Like they don't like stand out too much from the other music, and like the whole
Thank
thing
you.
flows really nicely. Yeah, you have a really wonderful voice.
Thank you so much, Joe.
You're welcome. So, Bonnie Tyler or Lizzo?
Well, wow. I'm gonna go with Lizzo.
Okay. What do you love about Lizzo?
So what I love about her, I love how she is like a big and beautiful woman and she's not afraid to like be body positive. Um, you know, I consider myself like a curvier woman and like even though like I've listened to a few of her songs and like the songwriting is pretty good and she's super talented and she can play flute and like she shreds on the flute actually
Mm-hmm.
and wonderful like just a wonderful talent but I love how bold she is and I watched that show that she had like Watch Out for the Big Girls. I actually
Ah, I didn't see
watched
it.
that for yeah, that I watched that series and I love how empowering she was and like she she seems like a wonderful person that really cares about women's rights and mental health. Um, and she's a role model for sure.
Yeah. As a musician, I think what I appreciate about her music is the like reinforcement of like positive self-talk, maybe is the way to say it.
Yes, yes.
It's like I love an album that just like has like the vibe where it's gonna lift you up. Her music is very uplifting. So Kate Bush or Patti Smith?
Ooh, I have to go with Kate Bush because I love Kate Bush.
Do you have a favorite Kate Bush song?
Oh my goodness. It's like I love man, I love like it's hard to say song, but like I love Army Dreamers.
Mm,
I love Hounds of Love.
mm,
I
yeah.
love I love the album The Dreaming.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's a good one too.
That's and Never Forever. So I think of like a lot of those songs on those albums that I really resonate with. Yeah. I
Yeah, she
actually don't own that. Like I own several Kate Bush records, but I don't own that one.
fantastic cover on this one. It has Babushka, Sat in Your Lap. Those are two of my favorites. And then it's one of the few albums that she put out where she didn't include Wuthering Heights because she re-released that song several times on vinyl,
Right, right, right.
which was like a
You
very
know,
clever sales tactic, honestly.
exactly. And I love that like iconic look that she has. But yeah, definitely Never Forever, The Dreaming, um what's the other one? The Red Shoes
Hmm.
that I really like. So just yeah. What's your favorite Kate Bush song or
Ooh, well, favorite's probably actually Wuthering Heights, which isn't very like, original of me, but
No.
I think the way, that she used the really high register to communicate a wraith was very poetic. And I
Yes.
and I love the music video for that song, just the red ballet
Yeah.
business and like nothing else really going on, but her motion is totally mesmerizing in it, and the contrast is wonderful, and it somehow just makes sense. I also like Wuthering Heights is a really weird book. It's like got a very strange plot structure to it, in my opinion. There's
Mhm.
like a lot of like weird returns of characters, and it's not entirely sequential, and then towards the end it's like unclear if there's like some necrophilia going on, so it's just like a super weird book. And so
Yeah, it's like kind of like it is a little like strange and eccentric, and the fact that like you would write like a top pop hit based
yeah,
on that is so interesting.
it's like who's
It's
gonna cover
agreement.
like like a Jules Verne book. But oh, actually, okay, I completely take that back before it even came out of my mouth. Rick Wakeman did Journey to the Center of the Earth as an entire album, so I guess it was just the era. So good stuff. Okay, so Pat Benatar or Adele.
Ooh. Huh. Let's go with Pat Benatar.
Okay, a classic.
Yeah. Um, Pat Benatar, it's kind of interesting as like Pat Benatar wasn't one of like my influences growing up, but she's like I respect her and I love her. I love the timbre of her voice, that kind of
Mm.
like there's like an edge, like a raspiness to it,
Mm.
kind of rough, but and didn't she, I think if I'm not mistaken, I think she did a cover of Wuthering Heights too.
She
I think she
did.
did a cover of that song
Yeah.
and that was pretty rad too.
Yeah. Um, she is not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. She declined to be in it unless her husband, who is like a driving force between behind her albums, was also inducted, and that didn't happen, so she's not in it.
Wow,
A lot of love.
that's actually thanks for telling me that tidbit because that's actually like wow, that's like an empowered choice to make. Like, nope, if
Yeah,
you're not gonna do that or I won't do that. That's like wow.
yeah, she had like a her story was that she married her high school sweetheart who was in the military, and they lived in New Jersey, and she basically just threw all the papers in the air, went to New York, went to a bunch of record labels without a band, just sang at them. She's really small. She's a very small person, and she sang with a more like airy voice, more like choir trained voice. So she started performing in the New York circuit, and she did a Halloween performance in a cat suit, and the reaction from the audience made her realize that that was a really strong look for her. So she did a lot more performances in those kinds of looks, and like that whole '80s leotard thing was really
Hmm.
connected to Pat's cat suits. Anyway, yeah, and she also realized through performing that there was a different way to sing that wasn't like such clean singing. That's how she developed her timbre. So then, what about Cher or Lucifer?
Wow. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know too much about Lucifer. So it's like I kind of like want to pick that just to like know more, but
For sure, yeah. Okay, so I think you would really like Lucifer because it's got like a Black Sabbath sound to it with female
okay.
vocals. The
Okay, that makes
it's
sense.
it's definitely clean singing. Johanna, she is originally from Germany and lives in Sweden now. And I have this little unique signed
It's
piece of
beautiful. I love
vinyl
it.
because
Looks really cool.
she did a satanic poetry contest and I won, so I got the thing.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, so it was like a great year for me for writing. I won a cool poetry contest, and then I got my first print publishing deal with DMR. So I'm gonna be in the next
That's
Lord
amazing.
Steele anthology.
Congratulations.
Thanks. I should be
I love
talking about it
learning
more.
about stuff. Yeah. No, I love learning about, I love like learning about, I was like, I could pick Cher, but I was like, I kind of want to know more. Like I've heard the name Lucifer, but I don't know like their music. So I need to, you know, check that
Yeah,
out
you
for
should
sure.
totally check them out.
I
I think you
will.
would really like them because they have like a dark kind of doomy sound, but it's like definitely rock and roll. Definitely falls under hard rock, but Yeah, lots of Black Sabbath influence.
Sweet. That sounds great.
Yeah, it's very well mixed, I'll also say.
Okay.
Yeah, gotta love when that happens. Okay, well, that was easy. Thanks for your
That was
time and
fun.
coming back to meet
Yeah.
again. I'll be in touch.
Yes,